Welcome back. In this session, we will talk about the solution to the previous problem. And the first question, to save a layout, we need to first go to Navigator ribbon and click the Layouts icon to open the Layouts panel at the left side of your screen. And to save a layout, you can right-click in the blank part. Save Layout As. Okay, so that's done for part 1. And for part 2, we need to create a layout to include both task filters and 3D filters. For task filters of all the core share roles, if I navigate through the Gantt chart, I can see that for core share wall tasks, they start with the string form place core. So I can take advantage of this feature and create a user field to extract the first several characters from the task name and create a new user field, and use that user field to create a task. Another way, which is a more direct way, is that I can take advantage of the task ID. So based on the observation, all the core share walls task ID starts with CSW. So I can go to the task filters panel. You can bring it up by going to navigator and task and path filters. So I can right click in the blank add task filter and call it core share walls. So I can scroll down, and in the general type, I check the box in front of name or ID. And for the name, I can type CSW. And I leave these 3 boxes unchecked and filter by task ID. And in my Gantt chart, you can see all the tasks starting with CSW is filtered in my Gantt chart. And next, let's focus on the 3D objects. So if I click on the one of the core share wall objects, I can check the user fields and their 3D properties channel. Here sometimes it gives us some helpful information, for example, the original type. We can search for generic 12 to 18 and create a 3D filter based on that. And another solution is that we can select, for example, these objects and go to 3D Objects panel and click on the name of the objects and use the trick that we used before, shift left arrow to select parents. Okay, so this panel is under generic 24th, and what we need is actually generic 12 to 18. So I can select generic 12-inch to 18-inch in the 3D object tree level and right click in the 3D view window, filters, create filter from selected. Hit OK, and the 3D filter will be listed in the 3D filters panel. You can go to navigator ribbon 3D filters to bring it up. And to make it more apparent, I will give it a color orange. And I can activate in the selected view. But you can see the color is not changed. That's because we need to go to 3D view properties, general tab, and switch the color mode to 3D filters. You can also do this by right click in the 3D view window and color mode and switch it to 3D filter. And for the unfiltered 3D objects, we can make it transparent by going to filters and the 3D view properties panel. And for the unfiltered objects, let's check visibility and give it a blue color. With all these task filters, 3D filters active, I will go back to my layouts panel and save it as a new layout. So now, for example, if I activate the default layout, and if I want to switch back to my generic 12 to 18 layouts, I just need to right click in my generic layouts and open layout. It will ask you, do you want to save the current layout? I can hit no, and it will jump to the previous layout that I just saved. For part 3 of the problem, I will first go to Google and search for heat map color. So from these pictures, we can tell usually we use the red color to represent the highest value and the deep blue to show the lowest value. So when I go back to my projects, I will use the red color to show the highest value of the concrete and deep blue to show the lowest value of the concrete. So I can click on a random objects and go to 3D properties, user fields. So here we have the volume user field and the value represents the concrete volume of the objects. I can go back to my 3D filters, right click in the blank, add. I call it greater than 10,000 to filter 3D objects whose user field's volume is greater than 10,000. So I check the user field box and I go to user fields window, search volume, and I can check the box in front of volume and the 3D properties and give it a value greater than 10,000. Okay. Click the activate in selected 3D view or activate in all 3D views. And we can see the objects that is greater than 10,000 in terms of their volume is filtered out. The reason why I pick 10,000 is that if, for example, I type 5,000, that's too much, and if I type 8,000, that's still too much. So I will just type 10,000 to filter only part of it. And when you're done, you go to General, and we can change the color, make it red. You may wonder why it is not in effect. That's because we haven't changed the color mode. So you can change by right click and go to color mode and switch to 3D filter color mode. Okay, and the next we can copy this filter, right click, create copy, and I will call it greater than 8,000. And for the general type, I can change the color, make it orange. And go to the user fields panel, change the volume to 8,000. And then activate. Okay, so you can see we have two filters activated in one 3D view, but it's not reflected now. To make it visible, I need to go to 3D View Properties panel and go to Filters panel. I need to change the operation from AND to OR. Okay, and for the active filters, I need to bring the greater than 10,000 to a higher priority than the greater than 8,000. So now I can compare and see the two filters at the same time. And I can go back to my 3D filters and create a copy for 7,000. And go to General, make it yellow. For the user fields, change it to 7,000. And then activate. So again, you will see a weird visual effects, but later I will change the order together, so you don't need to worry about it. So let's right click, create copy, greater than 5,000. And go to the general. Let's make it green. For the user field, I make it greater than 5,000. Okay, so for objects that volume is lower than 5,000, we will take care of it later. Oh, sorry, I forgot to activate. Okay, and our next task is to change the order of the filters. So I bring up the 10,000 to the first one, and then the 8,000, and then 7,000, and then 5,000. Okay, so Next, we will take care of the objects that is smaller than 5,000 in terms of their volume. So I scroll down to the unfiltered objects. I check the visibility and make it deep blue. So now you can see we have finished this task to create a heat map based on their volume. And to save it as a layout, we need to go back to Layouts panel and right-click Save Layout As. I save it as the heat map layout, and when I save it as a layout, it will save not only my 3D filters, but also the order of them. So for example, if I open the default layout, and if I want to bring back my heat map, I just need to select my heat map layout and open layout. And now it's back.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.